Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Thursday night Smackdown review. And I've got to say, you know what, this Smackdown, I like what SmackDown's doing, because even though it's not at the point yet where I'd like it to be, where maybe we remember it from the Ruthless Aggression era onwards, where it's really like its own distinct identity and they accomplish a lot and this and that, and quite honestly, we may never see an era like that again. This show, you know, it still does things that make it unique to itself, as we'll see, you know, with one matchup and the fallout from that we'll get to later in the show. So I like that they're doing that, and on the whole, I thought this was a fun episode of SmackDown. We got some solid matches, some interesting storyline progression as it relates to the main event of Fastlane, and overall this left me in a far better mood than Raw did this week. So Ashton, what did you think of it?
Well, I mean, compared to Raw, it was a lot better, for sure. It wasn't without its flaws, and honestly, I think that the biggest flaw that this show had, and again, it wasn't a bad show by any means, but I just think that the worst part about it is that it was just kind of boring. Like, I didn't really get anything in this that I got really excited about.
And that's fair enough. I enjoyed two matches thoroughly on this show. And yeah, other than that, I'd say the rest was par for the course for me personally. But yeah, I mean, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And I have what we affectionately call on TWitWoW the pickiest of nits, you know, borrowing a term from Ashton there. Ryback's attire. And you and I were kind of talking about this while SmackDown was going on. And it's funny because in my notes I even put that somebody clearly listens to TWitWoW. Because you have said on more than one occasion that from an aesthetic point of view, it's interesting when you've got these guys with these impressive physiques, or at least these attractive physiques, like Roman Reigns and like Ryback, who, you know, is the focus here. And yet their ring attires cover that up. You think, you know, given the industry that we're in and what WWE is about, that you would want to, you know, put that to the forefront. And they got that idea because now Ryback comes out in trunks. He's abandoned the singlet. I don't mind that. But, you know, I'm just hoping that the Goldberg chants don't make a comeback because the trunks were just standard black. And I'm thinking you couldn't even do, like, a nice airbrushed R or just in a really cool kind of font, maybe Feed Me More on the back or something distinct. He looks like a combination, and I hate to be that guy, but of, you know, Goldberg-esque with, like, a create a character template on a WWE video game. And I think Ryback deserves better than that. I mean, the gloves stand out because he's still got the R on the gloves, but you know, I just think they're in the right direction, certainly, which is why I called it the pickiest of nits. I'm just not a fan of the lack of design. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. I mean, that's one of those things where it's to each his own, because I personally think it's awesome that he's finally in trunks instead of a singlet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. I'm right there with you.
That's the thing, though. I think I consider that more of a win than you consider the lack of design on the trunks a loss.
Right. So, with that, I mean, that's it for me. So, I'm going to hand the ball over to you. Do you have any heats of the night tonight?
You know, again, no real heats of the night because there wasn't anything on this show that I got really angry about. Kevin Owens losing again is kind of iffy, but the fact that he at least lost to the United States champion makes it a little bit better. Really, my biggest problem with this show was that, like, I felt like my eyes were starting to get heavy. And I got like 11 hours of sleep last night, so it's got nothing to do with like a lack of sleep. It's just the show was kind of boring.
Right. And you know what? I think a lot of things on this show, like you said, was my nitpick. It's to each their own. I feel like this SmackDown could almost be described in those terms because, again, there were two things that I thoroughly enjoyed. One of them being actually that Kalisto Kevin Owens matchup, and I have my own thoughts on that. And yet, like you said, you felt your eyelids getting heavy. So I still think SmackDown's trying to find its way, you know, being a part of the USA Network, and I do see an effort happening here. I will say this, though, and I think you and I can hopefully agree on this because I know you paid a compliment to one of the commentators. I still love SmackDown commentary.
Yeah,
I think it's been the most consistent thing on the show.
Dude,
SmackDown commentary is so good.
It is so funny that you bring that up because to me, while I was writing notes, I found myself wanting to comment more on how good of a job commentary was doing than what was actually going on, whether it be in the ring or backstage or whatever, just because I feel like the biggest highlight of this show is the commentary. And the wonderful thing is, I can't even say that it's like a one-man effort with Mauro Ranallo, because Jerry Lawler has been upping his heelish tendencies every week. I expect by August for him to set someone's hair on fire, for God's sakes.
What put the biggest smile on my face, guys, I gotta tell you, me and Ashton were watching Smackdown, and Ashton just came right out and said, I love heel Jerry Lawler. I think a laugh from something he said preceded it. And then you're like, I love heel Jerry Lawler.
It was during the Owens Kalisto match, and he said, hey, did you guys get vaccinated? You know, there's this Zika virus going around, and the Mexican mosquitoes here.
You know, and see, that to me, what I liked about that line was it referenced current events and, pop culture, that whole vein, but it didn't feel forced. Like, Jerry just did it in one fluid motion.
Yeah, it's almost like when JBL tries to shoehorn, like, oh, let's just kind of shoehorn this lottery reference in, even though we've never talked about it before on the show. Whereas Lawler has referred to Kalisto as a mosquito multiple times over the course of the last couple of weeks. So that's not even like forcing it. That's just actually bringing up something relevant.
As has Del Rio, the heel opposition that Jerry Lawler as a heel himself supports. So
exactly.
It works beautifully. Yep. Him and Mauro Ranallo, and I like Byron Saxton, okay? I'm not trying to throw him under the bus. He's great too.
No, dude, Saxton is the perfect
middleman to me.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to say middleman. I was going to say he is the perfect sort of target. Like, I keep on relating him back to Andre from the league, in that he's so good at setting other people up to get jokes off and to make fun of him and to just kind of, in general, make the audience enjoy the show more. And I don't think people give enough credit to Byron, but he might not be the guy that's going to hit a home run, but he's definitely the guy that's going to lead your team in hits.
Yes, absolutely, completely agree with you. I'm glad we got to have this little mini discussion on SmackDown's commentary, because I don't want us to lose focus, because we have been clamoring for commentary to get better on the WWE side, and now that they're giving it to us, I would never want us to lose focus or appreciation. So I'm glad we did that.
I said hits. RBI is what I meant.
Okay.
Because he's that guy who's not gonna hit the home runs, but he's gonna help your other people to get home.
Yes. I think that's perfectly articulated. With that said, let us get right into our Thursday night SmackDown review.
I gotta tell you, man, it still feels weird to be calling it Thursday night SmackDown for some reason, because I just feel like for the longest time, the last time we were reviewing SmackDown regularly, it was still on Fridays, and I just got to tune my ears to get used to hearing you say Thursday night SmackDown.
Yeah, I got to recalibrate that hearing, brother.
Yeah.
But we open up the show with Roman Reigns versus Rusev. I'm just going to tell you guys straight away, it was an okay matchup. Rusev got some offense in. Early on he Irish whips Roman Reigns into the steel steps. But then, of course, Roman makes his comeback. I remember at one point he gets clotheslines, short arm clotheslines in the corner. But it went the way that you'd expect it to, because King Barrett and Alberto Del Rio were at ringside in Rusev's corner. Roman Reigns is going for the Superman punch, and they pull at his leg, and they pull him out, and they start the beatdown. So this is a non-finish. And the big story here, though, is that Dean Ambrose tries to come out to neutralize the assault, even the numbers. He goes for a flying elbow drop off the apron, and he catches Roman Reigns. So they have a miscommunication there, which I did like, because, we didn't see a miscommunication on Raw when Stephanie tried stoking the flames. They saved that for SmackDown. So, we do get storyline progression, at least a little bit, in that vein. And it kind of opens up, well, that these guys still have finished. They need to finish. It's probably going to be concluded in the main event. So it kind of instills that curiosity. How are they going to handle this come main event time? So, yeah, average matchup, but with a finish, post-match and everything, that I think left some intrigue. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, and another thing that was kind of interesting to me was that we had another miscommunication later on in the night as well. So they're not just going for one in a night and kind of leaving it at that. They're really, like you said, kind of stoking that flame.
Exactly, and I appreciated that, and we'll get more into that when main event time comes. But do you have anything else you want to say about like this opening match? I mean, do you have any thoughts you want to share?
Oh, go ahead.
All right, let's move on. In the next segment, Renee Young interviews Dean Ambrose. I like this. Ambrose pretty much says, sometimes I get lost in my own head. It's like a party going on, 3 a.m., and the cops show up suddenly. And he says, me and Roman, our friendship has always been, because Renee really presses the issue. Well, are you gunning for Roman? What's going to happen at Fastlane? And he says, look, me and Roman understand that there are times where we're going to hit each other, and then there are times we're going to hit other people. And, tonight's going to be one of those cases because we find out that there's going to be a tag team match. Ambrose and Roman Reigns going against Rusev and Del Rio. And, I have here, at the time just watching the show that I hope WWE continues to build on that tension in the main event, which they did, so that was great. But as far as Ambrose's promo goes, it was great. The guy's a natural talker. I trust him to deliver every time, and he certainly did here. Nothing more you can say than that.
Yeah, man, Dean is one of those guys that you don't really need to worry about when it comes to promos. He can handle himself out there without a script and just kind of let him go. And these little interviews that he does with Renee are always adorable, too.
Yeah, completely agree with you, brother. No arguments here. Moving right along, our second matchup, Kalisto versus Kevin Owens with Dolph Ziggler on commentary. Dude, I gotta tell you, I love this match. And here's my thing about this match, right? I even have in my notes here, WWE, for all the things they may get wrong, I feel like they've basically gotten down to almost a science how to book Kalisto. Because his screen promo talking about how he was going to win his match at Fastlane against Del Rio for the legacy of the U.S. title and for the love of the fight. In other words, Lucha. That was great. And then just putting Kalisto against guys, because Kevin Owens isn't necessarily a giant, but he's so aggressive and brutal in there, it still has like that David versus Goliath kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And they know to play to that with Kalisto, which I think is so smart. And look, I'm sorry if it feels like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just have to say again for the millionth time how great of a heel Kevin Owens is. Like, I love his work in there, from the trash talking in matches to just the power offense. I even say in my notes, and this is the last thing I really, as far as this match goes, that I needed to reference in my notes. After watching this match, and especially the whole fake out where he undoes the announce table and he's looking like he's going to powerbomb Kalisto through it, but he powerbombs Kalisto on Dolph Ziggler, and then when Dolph gathers himself, Kevin Owens just super kicks him in the damn face. Ashton, you and I on TWitWoW, when we have like these off like brand discussions, not focused solely on the review or whatever, we look at guys and we think about what their future might be. I want 2016 to be the summer of Owens. We've had the summer of Punk, the summer of Bryan. I would love for 2016 to be the summer of Owens. I'm thinking if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, or he doesn't get up in that world title picture, because here's the thing, if the rumors are true that he's going to be working a program with AJ soon, then there is no reason why after that, when we get to the summertime, he shouldn't be in that world title conversation. If he doesn't get either of those things, to me, that's a travesty, because here is a guy that has been a workhorse as of late and is just so consistently good that for him to not be elevated, I think is contrary to everything we've ever believed in or been taught about this business. He's just one of the best to come through to me. I freaking love his work. And the fact that he lost by a roll-up due to Dolph's distraction, I could be saltier about that, sure. But I think the heel work that he did preceding it to set himself up for that fall was just so magnificent, I'm not even mad.
And again, it's also, it's less impactful that he lost knowing that the person he lost to is the United States champion.
Yes, I completely agree. And you know what? It would be hypocritical of us to say otherwise, because what did I just say? I believe, you know what? It was NXT just last night. How I said how on the main roster they never have champions really win matches. They seem to lose so many non-title matches. Here, Kalisto actually wins one. So how great does that make Kalisto look? Distraction or not?
He beat Neville last week too, didn't he?
And that was a title match. That's what I'm saying though. Like,
yeah,
that's the title
right.
There.
That's right.
But yeah, winning when that's not really the norm for champions in the WWE, particularly on the main roster, I think that really makes Kalisto stand out. Like, yeah, this guy is tough. And by the way, I've been wanting to say this since it started. I love that Mauro Ranallo calls Kalisto the diminutive Dynamo. I think that's one of the best nicknames ever. It really grew on me from the first time he said it. I just think everything about Kalisto, from his branding to the execution, is on point. And Kevin Owens, man, I will not stop kneeling at this man's altar until he gets his due. He's just one of the best I've seen. Just amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to, and it's funny because he lost both of his matches this week. And just earlier this week, there were rumors floating around that he might be in contention to face Taker at Mania this year.
Yeah, and I would not be opposed at all.
Well,
Yeah.
you would hope he'd be a little more protected if that was the case, though.
I agree. You know what? And I agree. And I would think the same thing, though, if the rumors that he was going to do a program with AJ had any credence. I will say, and I am going to stay by this because I feel like I said this in our Raw review, and I either you said it and I co-signed, or I said it and we just both agreed. Kevin Owens, to me, needs to start winning more. Because I look at him as a heel and how he goes about his business in ring and everything and how he carries himself. This is a guy that should be winning. This is a guy that when you're standing across from him, you should fear for your own safety because he will brutalize you. When you get in the ring with him, you're going to get hurt. That should be the only thing you know with any kind of certainty whatsoever. And the idea, again, it is the U.S. champion. It is a distraction, and we've all forgiven it because I'm just raving over this match. But the idea that Kevin Owens isn't that dominant guy that's winning and he's not this strong heel in that regard, to me is a travesty because I feel like it would be so much better for his career and so much better for everybody's perceptions of him, both in a kayfabe and, non-kayfabe context, thinking about what he could reasonably do in the future if he won more. So that definitely needs to be fixed.
Absolutely. All right, so can we move on?
Absolutely we can. We have JoJo interviewing The Miz. And you know what? I like this. Miz, I think he's gotten down exactly the style of how his character's going to cut promos, because I notice a lot, he makes a lot of parallels between his goings-on in the WWE with his goings-on in the film world, whether they be positive or negative. In this case, the latter. He's saying, well, first, the Academy Awards, they snubbed Santa's Little Helper. Then, and then I got to deal with this country redneck AJ Styles. I liked it. It is The Miz, and he's never going to blow anybody away on the mic, but I think it serves its purpose. I really did enjoy his ending line, though, where he said that AJ Styles is going to learn that to make it in the WWE, you need more than a Pele kick. Maybe, saying Styles Clash would have been better, because I know commentary has used that name, and that is actually AJ's finisher. But I get the point Miz was trying to make, and I appreciate it. I thought this was good work here.
Yeah, it was, Miz, like you said, he's not one of those guys that's going to blow you away, but right now he's one of the better mic talkers on the roster.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think from this Raw that we covered, just this past Monday, and now Smackdown tonight, I think Miz has really become that guy, and I do mean this as a compliment compared to what I used to say about him. He's really come into his own as kind of like that placeholder heel. The guy that can be trusted to work with the baby faces, get them that sympathy, and have just enough heat himself that the crowd can revel when he eats his comeuppance. Yep. I think he's really gotten good in that role, and I think that's what you should aspire for when you're in Miz's place on the card, and he's damn good at it. So, all of that is a compliment, and I hope any Miz fans, take it as such. But moving on, our next matchup, Ryback versus Erick Rowan. I've already touched upon Ryback's attire, and you and I kind of had it out in our Heat of the Night segment. So as far as
he looks really strong tonight, and I don't necessarily just mean like, well, he's wearing trunks now, so you get to see how strong of a look he has. I'm talking like he was made to look really strong tonight, made to look really legitimate tonight.
Completely agree. So legitimate, my friend. He didn't even need the shell shock finisher to beat Erick Rowan. He beat him with the meat hook clothesline,
yep.
Which I, really agreed with.
I'm telling you, man, I'm not a big fan of these Wyatt guys losing the way they are, because on Monday, it's Erick Rowan the whole way, so maybe it's leading to Rowan getting exiled, but yeah, on Monday, Rowan lost to a freaking choke slam from Big Show, and now he lost to the Ryback secondary finisher, that meat hook.
It's so funny that Braun Strowman is the strongest looking member of this family, and he's not even the leader. Because really, with Bray Wyatt, my criticisms have always been the build-up is always great, but he never really wins the matches to give himself that credibility as a heel. And Erick Rowan has been completely bitched out in this family. So I agree with you about the potential excommunication, because there seems to be emphasis on him lately. Luke Harper is a guy that, quite honestly, I enjoy him in ring. I felt like the brief time that he was a singles competitor, with no family, I thought his promos were unique and there was something there. I don't really think they got as much mileage out of it as they could have. So it's a shame, because I want to be hyped about the Wyatt family and the people in it. It's just hard with the booking. I wanted to field a question your way, though, Ashton, because I have in my notes, they did try and attack Ryback post-match, but he got away. Could you potentially see maybe at Fastlane Ryback and Big Show versus Harper and Strowman, and then maybe at WrestleMania we do Strowman Big Show rather than doing that match at Fastlane, so we get Big Show at WrestleMania and we give Strowman just him slaying that giant on the biggest stage? Do you think that's a possibility?
Do you really want to put the Big Show versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania?
Me personally, I think because it would be kind of that attraction match because they're two really big guys. I think for that reason I wouldn't be entirely opposed, but I do think both guys are better served in the armbar with maybe Strowman eliminating Big Show last or something.
Yeah, there you go. That's more along the lines of what I was thinking, yeah.
But what do you think, though, at least about Fastlane, about potentially Ryback and Big Show teaming up because they tried going in for Ryback and he got away? Do you think that's just a one-off thing? Or
that wouldn't bother me at all, yeah. I mean, they'll probably even add a third guy and just do the whole family, not counting Bray, against those three people, including, Show and Ryback.
Yeah, because I do think Bray will have a hand at Fastlane, but in an entirely different context. We will talk about that, though, on the 20th night before in our preview and predictions video. Getting that hype in early. So with that said, our next segment, Renee Young interviews Becky Lynch, and I love this. Becky is just so wonderful, and then she starts talking about, me and Sasha have never been friends, because Renee inquires, you helped Sasha on Monday. You guys were having a match. You saw Sasha was getting beat down by her former Team Bad teammates, and you came to help her, and she's like, me and Sasha have never been friends, and Sasha cuts her up.
Yes, you have.
Yes, you have, and we all know it. But Sasha comes out and just like, oh, hell no, just cutting that interview off. And then she's like, you're damn right, we've never been friends. In fact, she uses the example, and I love this. Becky, if you were on fire and I had a bottle of water, I would dump it out before helping you. And I'm just like, ooh, getting intense in here. And they pretty much go back and forth, like Becky saying, oh, Sasha, you were really handling them just great. You were doing fantastic. It was all you. You didn't need my help at all. And then Sasha's like, oh, whatever. At least I did better than you would have. And they just, start bickering. But their bickering ultimately leads to them agreeing, like, well, then I guess we're going to work together then. Fine. And then, Sasha leaves. And Renee is just like, what happened? And she inquires with Becky Lynch, did you guys just agree to work together? And then Becky just kind of looks at her and she's like, I don't know. And she walks off, which I thought was adorable. Yeah. So, yeah, I love these two, and this segment was great. Put a nice smile on my face.
Yeah, this was really good. I thought this was great. Honestly, I would even argue this was probably the most entertaining segment on the entire show.
You know what? I wouldn't even offer you much contention there. I thought this was great. These two clearly have a great rapport with each other, for obvious reasons. And, again, I really am feeling like we were just talking about tag team matches potentially with Ryback and Big Show against the family. I certainly feel like a tag team match will happen at Fastlane between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks going against Naomi and Tamina before we just go completely on the road to WrestleMania, and I would not mind that at all. And, do you have anything else you want to say about this?
Nope.
All right, next matchup, Miz versus AJ Styles. I'm going to come right out and say it, Ashton. To me, this was match of the night.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought this was a good match.
Yeah, you know what? I loved everything about it, too. Not just the competitors in ring, because I felt Miz really held his own, and I loved the aggression he showed, against AJ, really trying to put him away and trash-talking him. Jericho was phenomenal on commentary to me, if for no other reason, because he really put over AJ. And can I just say, too, because I was thinking about this while I was watching it, I love that a guy that was the very first ever undisputed champion, 6-time world champion overall, and a 9-time Intercontinental champion, among other accolades. He says, like, I couldn't sleep at night. I've been thinking about that match. Like, he makes the idea of beating AJ Styles seem like a worthwhile prize in his own eyes, and I love that. He makes it seem like it would really be a feather in his cap, and think about all the accolades I just listed, and yet he seems so unsatisfied because he can't beat AJ Styles. He can't scratch this itch. I love that. That makes AJ seem like such a huge deal. It makes him seem important. And as far as the match goes, I mean, great back and forth. AJ does get the Pele kick off at one point, so, nice bringing it full circle from the preceding promo by The Miz. And, he goes for the Styles Clash not once but twice, and Miz has it well scouted. So AJ digs into his bag of tricks, and we see the return of the Calf Killer, now known as the Calf Crusher, which I don't mind because alliteration for the win.
Yeah.
And it gets the submission victory. Ashton, I am so glad that AJ brought this submission along with him. I think that's awesome, dude. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it's awesome to see him using it. Knowing that it's going to be a part of his repertoire in WWE is really cool, because I was legitimately concerned. Like, I was thinking, okay, well, when he gets to the WWE, they're going to probably take that away from him. I don't even know why. I just had it myself convinced that was not going to be coming with him from Japan. Maybe because he had never really used it before Japan. Maybe it was like, a Japanese only thing for him. But no, he's keeping it, and it's awesome. And I definitely appreciate that the WWE is letting him keep it. My problem, though, and this is this is something that I brought up on Monday. This is now his 5th match, and he has hit the Clash once.
Yeah. It continues. You might as well get that running counter going, because maybe they just don't want him hitting the Clash much at all. Maybe the Calf Crusher will be the common hold, I would find, which is so weird because it's AJ Styles. We associate him with that Styles Clash. But you know what? Honestly, I think I was only able to forgive it tonight because we got the Calf Killer in its place, and I popped. When he broke that, I'm like, no way, because I recognized the setup, and I'm like, no, is he doing it? And it's like, yes, he is, and I got into it, man. So this was a fun matchup between this and Kalisto and Owens. I was more than satisfied, and this was easily my match of the night. Jericho's post-match promo too was awesome because he still keeps putting over AJ. He says, we know you're all good because if you weren't good, you wouldn't be in the WWE and you wouldn't have beaten me. So there's that moment of tension, but can you be great? And that's kind of the question that hangs in the air. And Jericho ultimately lays down the gauntlet to AJ Styles for a rematch next week on Smackdown. And I have in my notes, I like this because, one, it continues to make Smackdown, even if it doesn't necessarily feel important, it makes it feel like its own independent entity again. Not that it's just piggybacking Raw. And two, we get Smackdown commentary covering this match, which I think is going to just elevate it to a whole nother level.
Yes.
And yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Do you want to live react to that when we watch it?
You know what? We could, man. Yeah, if you're open to that, I certainly wouldn't be opposed.
We'll have to figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah, because, the first matchup did so well, and we thank you guys so much for that viewership. So, yeah, it'd be, quite apropos to do the rematch. But I also loved here, AJ does respond to Chris, not necessarily with a microphone, but he gets in his face because they shake hands, but they do that intense handshake where AJ pulls Jericho in, and he says, Chris, I'm not great, I'm phenomenal, and you're going to find that out again. I love that. And this whole, I'm not great, I'm phenomenal, to me, that's going to be AJ's tagline for his WWE career, because everybody's asking, can he be great, can he be great? He's like, bitch, please, I'm phenomenal.
Yeah,
so I love that.
Catchphrase for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, dude. I would run with that personally. Anything else you want to say about Miz versus Styles or just the goings-on after the match?
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm curious to see what they do with one or both of those guys on Raw next week.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because here's the thing, dude. I fully expect AJ to beat Jericho again in the rematch, and we may get Jericho.
I don't know. I could honestly see Jericho using some kind of a cheaty, sneaky, borderline heelish tactic to get the win, and then the rubber match happens at Fastlane.
Yeah, you do have a point there. I'm definitely going to be watching closely, but here's my thing. Either Jericho is going to use a cheaty tactic, to your point, and get the win, or, to me, AJ's going to win again. They're going to do the handshake again, but then Jericho's just going to boil over, and that's going to be the turn. But regardless, I like how you and I are both...
You're better than me, AJ? Yeah, that would be amazing.
And if there was a Jeritron 9000, no doubt that he would put Styles' face through it, so fortunately for him, there won't be. But I like that you and I have a similar line of thinking, that Jericho, he is going to indulge in that dark side a little bit in one way or the other next week. I really think it's going to happen. I
love how quickly he's turning heel after we decided we want him to be one.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, get on it, Chris. And it's like, all right. So
fine, dude. Jeez.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
I was planning on it the whole time. You don't need to be pushy. dick.
Yeah, exactly. Give me time. Give me space. Jesus. So yeah, moving on. We got JoJo interviewing Roman Reigns. And you know what? Roman pretty much reiterates what Dean was saying earlier, that it was an accident out there. And, we're not on the same page. We may be in the same book, but not on the same page. He's crazy and I love him for it, but we got two distinct styles and I'm cool with that, and we ride together, we fight together, we win together. And that's exactly what we're going to do against Rusev and Del Rio. Believe that. And that's pretty much Roman's promo. Short, sweet, and to the point. Again, pretty much a reiteration of what Ambrose said earlier. Nothing more you can say than that. What about you, Ashton?
No, yeah, I mean, I don't really understand why he went so far out of his way to make it seem like he and Dean are not on the same page. I don't really get that. And then, the whole crazy thing, it almost seems like Roman is starting to, intentionally try and provoke Dean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's starting to feel a little bit like he's kind of trolling Dean a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's weird to have somebody that, you call yourselves brothers, and yet you say, even in the context that Roman was using it, that we're not on the same page. Well, either you are or you aren't. There's really no in between. So, yeah, I totally get what you're saying, but that's just Roman being Roman, and I guess all of our opinions are irrelevant. So, with that said...
I want him to say that, though.
I want him to say it too, damn it. Why do you think I've been imitating it for God knows how many years? I'm gonna die before he says it. God, that's soul-crushing reality, though. But regardless, our next matchup, the New Day versus the Social Outcasts. The pre-match promos from both teams were great. I love that the New Day, does reference that everybody envies that, they're champions and they have gold. And, they bring it back to booty cereal, as they call it. And it just tastes great and makes you great, so that's awesome. And
booty cereal be awful and make you awful?
You'd think, but it's the New Day, so, I mean, can anything really make them awful?
Well, they call bad things booty, so if the cereal's booty...
You do have a point there. But regardless, they go into New Day rocks. Social Outcasts interrupt. Again, they use the excuse that Bo Ryder is laying down tracks for that gold album. And then they pretty much laugh at the New Day because they say they have gold when those belts are clearly bronze. They say they're going to take them. And Curtis Axel also has a line in here where he tries to say the plural of rhinoceros. He fails miserably, and then he says they've got rhino horns of rhinos on their head or rhino horns on their head, and they all laugh. And
including Axel, who has an amazing laugh.
He does. I mean, that laugh is 10 out of 10.
I love the delivery here, too. They think they're rhinoceroses. They think they're rhinoceroses. They think they're rhinos.
Yeah, it was so good. These guys
amazing.
Amazing.
I love it, man.
These guys are great at being awkward. And when they said they were gunning for the tag titles, New Day's
guys, I don't know about these guys. I think Curtis Axel's just amazing at being awkward. Heath Slater has a good delivery, but I don't think awkward would describe it.
That's true. I think, that's all the Axeman right there.
Yeah.
But, when the Social Outcasts, proclaim their ambition to be tag team champions, New Day's like, you're not touching our waist. You're not getting anywhere near our waist. So just the interplay between these two teams I thought was great. As far as the match itself, what I liked about it was it was fun, but they established a great pace all throughout, and it was short. So I think this just really had all the elements. You had two great teams. It was short, but I think it compensated by having a quick pace. There was an exchange in this match between Curtis Axel and Kofi Kingston where one of them was trying to connect with something, and it just counter after counter until Curtis Axel finally got the knee lift, which I thought was great. Even Jerry Lawler was like, finally, somebody hit something or connected with something. End of the match comes. Originally, Social Outcasts try to cheat, get a roll-up with their feet on the ropes. Xavier Woods knocks the feet off, and then Kofi, I believe, replicates that strategy and actually gets the win. So New Day did cheat to win, but Social Outcasts did it first, so I think New Day was totally within their rights. What about you, Ashton?
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I mean... when one team cheats, that makes all is fair in love and war apply.
Exactly. They were aggressed upon, and they retaliated accordingly. That's just how I perceive it.
Exactly.
With that said, moving right along, match number 6 here, we got Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. Nothing really much to say here. This is a quick matchup, as, matches when you've got, like, this kind of dynamic, Alicia Fox being so low on the card and Charlotte being the champion tend to go. She wins relatively quickly with the figure 8. I did put here, though, that it's a shame that, in my opinion, the best worker of Team Bella is now, I guess, the new jobber of the group, seeing as how Brie just recently beat the champion. So, it sucks. I think Alicia Fox deserves a lot better. Her freak out post-match was a bit funny. I did chuckle a little bit, but yeah, she made short work of Alicia Fox, did Charlotte, and yeah, you just know that Brie Bella is going to be getting that match eventually.
Sad but true. The more I think about it, the more I kind of hope they do Brie versus Charlotte on Raw rather than just, like, saving it for Fastlane. But
right,
I mean, being realistic, it's totally going to be on Fastlane.
Yeah, exactly. I love how you just resign yourself to it. Like, it would be nice if they did this, but it's just going to happen here. Your voice just kind of trails off, just accepting that reality, because I know it's painful for all of us. With that said, next segment, Golden Truth segment again. This one is at a hotel. Goldust is impersonating, I believe the term is bellhop, wanting to take Truth's bag. And Truth, obviously is just uncomfortable by Goldust. Doesn't want to be anywhere near him.
These Golden Truth segments are starting to wear thin a little bit, and most importantly, they're starting to really kind of make me dislike Goldust.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I'm picking up everything you're laying down, first of all. Second of all, the one credit I will give this, I didn't notice any references, to the whole tired married gag that we were talking about. So they at least didn't go that route, but I was even saying,
what?
like, that whole, like, I'm a married man and that whole, like, borderline homophobic thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying now. You said tired married gag, and I was just confused at what you meant by that, but now
And, I even put here, I completely agree. I even have here, exactly, these segments are really beginning to feel dragged out. So it's funny that you say it when I had the exact same sentiment while watching it unfold. Just put these two together already. Because here's the thing, these guys, let's be honest, I like Goldust, I like R-Truth, but they're low guys on the card. You don't need to do all this build-up when you're talking about two comedy guys. One or two segments.
And not only that, but I think that it's really going far to make Goldust feel stalkerish. Like, he's not a babyface anymore. He is a douchebag heel at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because in this segment, in this context, you have Truth that was trying to relax at a hotel, and, you think about their line of work, when do they ever get a chance to relax? And you've got Goldust coming in, let me carry it back, and then he gets Truth's stuff everywhere. Like, how am I supposed to sympathize with Goldust? Yeah. And I agree with you. Like, Truth said no once.
And you know what? It's also kind of like that nice guy theory, where it's like, I'm a nice guy, why don't you like me? And with Goldust, he's being a dick, but he's trying to say, like, why wouldn't you want me as a partner, Truth? I'm such a good partner. And then he's being a shitty partner in the process.
Exactly. And, I can't even really attribute it to Truth not understanding Goldust anymore, because Goldust did clarify in one of these prior segments, like, no, I meant tag team partner.
Yeah, like, R-Truth just doesn't want to be your partner, dude. Like, learn to accept rejection, like.
Exactly, yeah. I agree. I didn't expect us to be so critical in our analysis, like really going that deep. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Goldust is really coming off as the heel here, and I think it's giving off like a bad message. Like, if somebody says no to you, just keep being push on through. Just keep aggressing on them, and eventually, they'll crack. Because that's a positive, healthy message we need in today's society. Way to be that role model, Goldust. So,
he's never really much of a role model. I mean, like, have you seen some of his tweets? I don't know.
No, well, I mean, I knew about one Twitter controversy he was a part of a few years back, but I don't really touch his Twitter, so, I wouldn't really.
So that's what I mean, though. Like, the one that you're talking about where he was blocking people because of religious reasons.
Yeah. I mean, still a crisp worker, but just character-wise not coming off the best right now in these segments. So let's just get these two together. Let's get them on that Fastlane pre-show, like I said, against Social Outcasts or the Ascension or whoever they want to job them out to. And let's get Golden Truth, on the road. So.
Yeah, let's. Or, I mean, alternatively, maybe this whole thing is building up to Goldust finding a different partner that isn't R-Truth.
Maybe, and then maybe, I don't know, Truth gets jealous or something in a weird... I don't freaking know.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the speculation train is about to take off, and we need to get off board right now.
Yeah, well, I'm more than ready to, because up next we have our main event, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Del Rio and Rusev. You know what? Fun match. Really, the big thing that happened here, there was one point where Del Rio and Rusev were really ganging up on Reigns on the outside. Dean Ambrose trying to even the odds. He was going to go for a suicide dive. However, though, they move out of the way. He almost did it to Reigns. Reigns caught him, though. And then he's starting to ask, like, come on, man, like, what's going on? And then in the midst of their arguing, Roman breaks that chain to Superman punch Rusev in the face. He gets him back in, and he spears Rusev, and I believe that's the winning pinfall for this matchup. I will say, though, I liked what Roman Reigns did here. I don't know if you caught this, but I caught it. As Dean Ambrose is on the top rope, and he's kind of celebrating and pointing at the opposition, like, yeah, come on, come back, come get some. Roman looks up from where he's kneeling after pinning Rusev and just eyeing Ambrose, and I like that, because he had that look on his face like, can I trust you? What's going on there? And of course, when him and Dean, like when Dean was, conversing with him after the fact, they were smiling and joking about it. But in that one moment, Roman seemed very doubtful. So I like that. I like the body language that Roman exhibited while Dean wasn't looking and just kind of analyzing his own situation. I appreciated that.
Yeah. The moment with the suicide dive too, there was definitely some hesitation for Roman.
I'm just hoping come Monday that Roman reciprocates the miscommunications, because I don't want to make it I don't want WWE to make it seem like Roman's perfect and can do no wrong, and it's just Dean consistently screwing up. Because I originally thought that, okay, well, Dean had the mess up at the beginning of the night, Roman's going to have the mess up to end it. So then both sides have these suspicions, but now it's really just Roman having the suspicions right now. So I would like to kind of feed Dean's paranoia a little bit, especially because everybody always wants to go on about how crazy he is. Plant a seed in his mind, like, why would Roman do that to me if he's not looking out for himself? So maybe on Raw this will escalate, but we'll see.
Maybe. I just doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it as well, but, stranger things have happened, I guess. So, moving on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. My low shot is The Miz. He tapped out to AJ Styles. He talked a big game, really ran him down on Monday, and it continued into, tonight on Smackdown, saying, he's a country redneck and this and that. Well, that country redneck just made you tap out. So, you're looking like a joke. And, yeah, it was just a really bad night for The Miz, and now AJ's completely moved on from The Miz and on again to Chris Jericho in this rematch. So, yeah, Miz is my low shot.
I can dig that. I mean, he talked a big game, especially on Raw, but, he got shot down, didn't he?
Yeah, in the worst way. So, who is your low shot?
My low shot is going to be Erick Rowan, because now for 2 weeks straight, or 2 episodes, 2 shows straight, he's been losing, and not just losing, but losing to secondary finishers.
Yes, I mean, he is really, it was never really OP, so I can't even use the term nerfed, but he's been watered down even further than he normally is, and that's really
Can we use
bad.
the word relegated? He's been relegated?
Yeah, relegated I think works. So, yeah, no qualms there. High spot, continuing in that same vein, AJ Styles. We may be all getting miffed that he's only hit the Clash once in his time in WWE, but I'm very happy to see, again, what they're now calling the Calf Crusher back in his repertoire, and he found a way to win, got me to pop, and he still, hasn't been beat yet, and that's just an itch that Jericho is dying to scratch. So AJ's really been making a splash. I think so far, in my opinion, WWE has used him well. Maybe a few things they could improve, but I'm liking watching AJ Styles as a WWE story unfold. His road to WrestleMania has been very entertaining to me thus far. So he is my high spot.
Yeah. All right. My high spot is, you know what? I might even. Do I want to stick on the same line of thing? No. Wait. Your high spot was who again?
AJ Styles.
Okay. Because you took AJ and he probably would have been my number one pick for high spot, I'm going to go with Ryback, because great new look, and he starts off his new sort of improved self undefeated. And of course, again, we're going to draw more Goldberg comparisons, but it's okay because Goldberg was awesome. So let's just go with it.
There you go. All right. With that said, one segment left. 30-second hot seat. Ashton, what do you got for me this week?
We did a lot of speculating earlier on in the show. I kind of wish we wouldn't have, because I wish I would have been able to use some of the speculation we did as a 30-second hot seat. Like, what do you think's going to happen next week, and what do you think AJ Styles' feud is going to culminate in? But I can't do that. So What I am going to do is change it up, and I'm going to say, John, what women's matches do you think we are going to get at Fastlane and then at WrestleMania? I want both participants and winners, so I'll let you think about it for a few seconds, and your time starts now.
Fastlane, I think we're going to get Brie Bella versus Charlotte, with Charlotte going over. We're also going to be getting a tag team matchup, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Naomi and Tamina, with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch going over as well. I think at WrestleMania, because all three people, Charlotte being the champion and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch having their own credible claims to the title, will meet in a triple threat. And you know what? I'm going to say that Becky Lynch goes over because WrestleMania is the stage for babyfaces, and I think she's going to get a WrestleMania moment finally winning a championship. So I pick Becky Lynch.
30 seconds, right on the nose. Great job, John.
Thank you, sir. What did you think?
I think, you know what? I do wish that I could have signed on to your WrestleMania prediction. I think that our boy over at OTRS Central, the Schleg Daddy, has a great idea. I think we're going to get Sasha versus Charlotte with Snoop Dogg and Ric Flair at ringside.
Really?
I think that that's a definite possibility because Snoop's a fan. Snoop is a fan of the product, so it would not surprise me if they got him at WrestleMania.
Would be cool if we kind of merged our two ideas and you still get Becky Lynch in there, but she takes up Mick's offer to be in her corner. So you got Mick Foley, Ric Flair,
that would
Snoop
be
Dogg.
so cool. I don't know if they would do that, though. I feel like if they would get somebody in Becky Lynch's corner, it would be somebody, I don't know, maybe it would be. That would be interesting. I like that. I like that dynamic. But yeah, I just kind of feel like Becky doesn't really have a really strong link to anyone that would benefit the WWE. That would feel more like the WWE doing Mick a favor than anything, you know?
And I think the problem I have with the OTRS Central book, I mean, I like it, right? But I think when you look at the current framework and the things going on, I don't know if they're going to save it for after WrestleMania or before, because to me it's going to happen one or the other. But I think Charlotte is just going to tell her dad off soon and kind of cut him off, because she did not seem pleased with him on Raw when he cost her that matchup against Brie Bella, getting on the apron and everything. And, she got caught in that cradle.
Dude,
so,
I want Bayley to come up so bad so that we can get a 4 horsewomen fatal 4-way at Mania, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen in time either. And to me, even if she would drop the belt at TakeOver Dallas, you need time to build up a fatal 4-way like that, because I think these girls deserve a proper story to be told.
Right.
So, it's gonna suck, but yeah, I agree with you.
They could bring Bayley up, and because that's the thing, there are no more NXT tapings for the next 2 months now.
Right.
So they could bring Bayley up and just kind of keep her on the road and give you the old WWE month and a half build up to the WrestleMania. I don't know. Obviously this is fantasy booking because there's no way it's actually going to happen. There's not enough time left. They're not going to call Bayley up before WrestleMania, so I'm just talking ass at this point. Let's just close.
Hey, I don't blame you. When you got people as talented as the 4 horsewomen, you can't help but have the mind wander. But with that said,
maybe you know what? Maybe we could have Bayley debut after the triple threat if that happens.
And see, I think that will happen now. I do see Bayley.
No,
being
I mean
one of the
literally at WrestleMania when the triple threat match is over.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be interesting and different, because everybody always eyes the post-WrestleMania Raw for debuts.
Yeah, because you said you
yeah.
think that Becky Lynch is going over, but what if they have a babyface moment by having Sasha go over, and then Bayley comes out and we get a stare down between Sasha and Bayley?
Yeah, at WrestleMania, which is so funny because Sasha has said in multiple interviews, her dream WrestleMania match is a one-on-one match against Bayley. She wants to work that WrestleMania match. So I think that'd be a great tease. In fact, hell, you could have that be the dominant rivalry, of the year that year. Have them have that stare down at WrestleMania 32, and then obviously with a lot of feuds in between, clearly. But then ultimately it comes full circle with them meeting for the belt again at WrestleMania 33.
Oh, if only, John. They're doing some good stuff with the women, but Brie Bella is still our number 1 contender, so we're living a pipe dream right now.
Exactly, but again...
Or not living, we're talking about a pipe dream right now.
Right, and again, though, when you've got women as talented as the 4 horsewomen, it's hard not to construct that pipe dream. But, with that said...
We're talking about a pipe dream all while living a farce.
Exactly. With that said, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW. The best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Ashton, what question do you have for... Well, actually, no, I don't need to ask you that because it's an established rule. Our 30-second hot seat is always the question for you guys. So, what women's matches do you see happening at both Fastlane and WrestleMania? And like me, I would like you guys to give us the winners of those matches. So be sure to have that conversation down in the comment section, and be sure to take that conversation over to Tweets Off. That is Pro Wrestling is taking over Facebook, an amazing pro wrestling group, a lot of fans of the Four Horsewomen, and a lot of fans of a lot of the acts that we got on SmackDown tonight, so you'll be right at home. But if you want more of a niche group, Ashton has created a TWitWoW subreddit. There you will find all of our content, and you're endowed with the power to create threads of your own on all things pro wrestling. Also, don't forget, in the Facebook vein, to like the TWitWoW Facebook page. I got to get used to plugging that. We've got a few likes right now, so just go on over there. I think you can also find our content, interact, so it's a great space there.
Yeah, and just to be clear, guys, it is facebook.com/TWitWoW. I know that there's another TWitWoW page on Facebook, but the other one that's around, first of all, it is a fan-run thing. Somebody else started it back in 2012. I don't know who it was. I don't know, where they are now because they haven't updated it since May, but it is facebook.com/TWitWoW.
Yes. So get on that, guys, and we will see you again for our Monday Night Raw review, where I don't know what's going to unfold, but I do know this. You may be wise to bring your pretzels and your popcorn because it may get salty up in this bitch. Tune in and peace out.